looking up at heaven, but you weren't anywhere in sight. They asked me stick around, but without you it just wasn't right. So I've been looking up at heaven.
Hi, and welcome to Atheism TV's Deconversion. This is the show where we find people and we interview them who used to be in religion, and now they have made their exodus, and yes, I do mean the pun, the exodus out of religion and into a life of reality. And today, I have Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for being here. Appreciate you taking the time. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm really interested in your story. You have an absolutely interesting story. I'm not sure how many are going to believe it. It's just really wild. So just kind of briefly tell me a little something about yourself, who you are, and just kind of fill us in.
All right. Well, I was raised in a family of 10. I'm the oldest.
10?
Yep.
The oldest of 10. Oh, my God.
Yep.
Oh, it's like a young baseball team, basically.
Yep. And basketball, we played that all the time.
Okay.
And I was homeschooled. We pretty much only studied the Bible. I did math my last year of school. And let's see, we were fundamental Christians, Southern Baptist. Southern Baptist Christians.
Were your parents, when they got married, were they Christians, or did they find Jesus while you kids were growing up, or how did that work?
My dad was raised as a Christian, and my mom was a new believer. Like, she was probably within 6 months when she met my father.
Oh, I see. Okay, so and I'm assuming they met in a Baptist church, or did they ever tell that story?
They met at a Bible study, and then their first date was at his parents' house for a Bible study.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And actually, my uncle, he liked my mom and wanted to date her, but my dad got her first.
Hey, dibs, right? Flip a coin or flip a camel, whatever, but anyway. So, growing up, so basically religion is all
I ever knew. I was extreme radical. From an early age, I became a Christian at 4. From an early age, I was one of those little missionaries who went up to people and told them that Jesus loves them, or if they didn't believe in Jesus, they were going to hell.
At age 4?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yep. I was one of those little Christian girls.
You homeschooled up until when? High school? Junior high?
High school.
High school?
Homeschooled all the way through. I really wanted to go to school because I wanted to be a missionary there. But I didn't get the choice and was homeschooled all the way through.
Now, being from a family of 10, and you're the oldest of 10, I'm going to assume there was a lot of free babysitting going on. Would that?
Oh my goodness, so much free babysitting. I've been doing that since I was 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I was the one who stayed at home because they let my younger siblings go to sports through the public schools.
Okay.
I was the one who was staying at home, cleaning the house, making the food, and watching the younger ones while they all did that. But I've been doing that all the way even through college as well. Part of college, anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, they didn't go to public school. They just played sports at public school?
They did, but they didn't start doing that until my 4th sister, I think. Yeah, I didn't get the option of doing that.
I guess there's a law or something that says they have to allow them to...
they can be counted as being in public school, I think. I'm not sure, but they were allowed to do that somehow. Okay. I guess they had transcripts that they made up.
Is there any bitterness toward... they got to do things that you did not get to do, and possibly religiously connected with that? Or how do you feel about that now? How did you feel about it then, maybe?
I kind of blame it on religion. I feel that it was because they wanted to shelter and protect the older ones. They were really into that with the older ones. And then they kind of slacked off as they had more. I think it's very common in large families that they do that. I'm a little sad that I didn't get to do fun things like go to sports with public school kids, but oh well. Life happens.
As Southern Baptists, did your parents just want a large family, or was it religiously decided to have that many children? How did they come to make that decision to have such a large family?
They allowed God to make up however many kids that they have, and they didn't believe in birth control or any kind of way of controlling that. So they just had as many as God gave them. So
basically, this God who opens and closes the womb kind of thing. Okay.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I disagree with them at a very young age. I mean, when I started getting married, I was at the age to get married. And that was a big war, actually, with my parents. They did not want me on birth control because I was engaged at the time. And I gave them lots of articles and did it anyway behind their back because I was not going to have a kid while I'm in nursing school, which is what I was at that time.
Tell me a little bit about your husband or, your partner. How did you come to meet? First of all, I guess I'm kind of curious in that respect.
I met him on a homeschool debate site. I had a gender neutral name.
Okay.
I was his child. And he wanted somebody to do a Bible study with him. And I decided I was going to do that. And we did a Bible study for a while. And he asked me who I was. So we started talking. It clicked really well. That was actually while I was starting college. And we talked a lot for an entire year. Then we met in person at an airport with my parents, which was really awkward. He didn't say anything, I didn't say anything, which is unusual for me.
I can imagine.
We saw each other 3 times during that summer. He was supposed to go to camp. I mean, he did go to camp. And I was actually supposed to go to that camp too. He got me a position as a store manager, but my dad said no. And I saw him 3 times, and when he went back home, because he was from Louisiana, he pressured me to ask him to court me. So he called him up and asked my dad's permission to court me, and I stood in front of my church and said that we were going to court.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this isn't a private affair. This is...
Yeah, now everybody knows we're dating or courting.
Which
meant in my church that you're getting married.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Most everybody who courted were getting married.
So, I mean, is this like a proposal, or is this a proposal with courting?
Pre-proposal.
Oh, pre. It's a definite, non-definite, definite. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But he basically thought we were engaged at that point as well. Since
meaning your...
Yeah, my ex-husband.
Okay. Oh, ex-husband. All right. So, well, and was he Baptist as well?
He was Southern Baptist. His parents were pastors.
And not the same church, I'm assuming, if you were on the internet.
No.
So, okay.
He was down in Louisiana. I'm from Washington State.
So in the courting, I know that I think it's Joshua Harris. I Kissed Dating Goodbye, a big on courtship and things. So was this what was his books or the model that you all followed, or
yeah?
Who set the rules for that courtship thing?
My dad did. He made us sign a contract at 16 that said that he would be highly involved with us, I guess, or give permission. I don't even remember what that contract said. And then he gave us a purity ring, and it was a big to-do for him. And he basically made up the rules as he went, because he later on gave my ex-husband 50 questions to answer by hand and told us we couldn't talk after he gave us permission to court.
You didn't even kiss until your wedding day?
Nope. Our first kiss was at our wedding day.
Really? So you don't kiss, but you did hold hands, or how long was it before you held hands?
Well, my parents freaked out about that because we didn't see each other until the next Easter. So in the summer we saw each other, and he asked permission right after that. And then we didn't see each other until Easter, so we're ready to hold hands and, kind of cuddle a little bit. But my parents freaked out about that. They did not like us touching at all. And were freaked out that whatever we were doing in front of them, we were doing more behind their backs. But we were doing the exact same thing, so.
As you were little? I mean, I shouldn't assume. I'll ask you the question. When you were little, did they start preparing you for courtship, no dating?
Oh, yeah.
How young do you remember?
I don't even remember. They talked about it a lot, talked about the wedding, talked about, being pure, and they really instilled that very early, so much that I don't even remember when that happened.
So it was just a natural thing?
Yeah, it was a natural thing. And plus we weren't allowed to talk to guys, so we didn't talk to guys at church, so we weren't,
Are you Southern Baptists or nuns? I mean, damn. Okay.
We did it. At youth group, they all sat on separate sides and then talked to each other.
Wow. Yeah, definitely fundamentalist. I would say severely.
Yep.
So
almost everybody in my church had the same beliefs. They were almost all homeschooled and wearing the long skirts and talked about modesty and all that.
What size church? I mean, is it a Couple hundred?
Large size.
Oh, really?
I think it was at least a couple hundred.
Okay. At what point did you start to doubt your beliefs? Was it while you were still at home, while you were married? When did these second thoughts about God start to enter in?
Well, the first thing had to do with, I guess the very, very first thing would have to do with when I was seeing my ex-husband. And I believed that whatever my dad said was coming from God. So I had to obey him. So I was very obedient. And I think the very first thing had to do with, well, I feel like I should be doing other things. I feel like I need to go down to Mississippi to do school.
Okay.
And so that's not even doubting God, though. So it was just like breaking away from the extreme fundamentalism, I guess.
Also, basically, when you broke free,
yeah, from
free
extreme fundamentalism, yeah.
Okay.
I went down to Mississippi for school. I did have my dad come down and check it out, though.
I see. Okay.
But I went down there, yeah.
And during this time, you felt that was okay. I mean,
yeah,
as a kid,
I felt I was following God. We were going to be missionaries, or we were going to be a pastor and pastor's wife, and run a church.
We meaning you and your ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And we tried really hard to do that. Like, I would get involved in the church. He always seemed to not want to, but as soon as I got involved, then he'd come. But we get to that point, like, we applied for Southern Baptist Missions. We get to the point where, okay, we have to get some experience. Let's go to China and teach English so we can get experience. And he's like, don't want to do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'd always get to that point where we'd almost make that step, but he would not want to. But I was full on board with that.
Okay. Kind of jettison ahead a little bit. You refer to him as your ex-husband. Mm-hmm. Did you want to sort of elaborate on that a little bit? What part did religion have to play? What part did religion not have to play? And kind of,
Religion had an extreme play into that because of religion, he did not embrace who he was.
Okay.
So he repressed his sexuality, and that led to a lot of depression and made him feel like he was worthless and a horrible person, and he didn't feel Christian, really. And I, for the longest time, could not figure out what was going on because I tried to do everything I possibly could as a good Christian wife to help and support him. And at first I thought it was a job, like he wasn't in the right job. So I focused my energy on trying to get him where he would be happy. But it took, when I was talking with my best friend, who is in the same situation as me and my husband, she is gay, and she had the repression as well. And she repressed who she was, and it led to a depression as well. And that made me wonder, wait a second, is that what's going on with him? So I asked him about that, and he said yes, but he tries not to think about it. I knew he wasn't attracted to women, because I was married to him. But I knew he wasn't, but we both thought it was because he was a lifeguard for so many years, that he saw so many almost naked people, and so it didn't do nothing for him. But when I asked him if he's attracted to men, he said, yeah, I try not to think about it. And so then I'm like, wait, now what?
Yeah.
So that led me to questioning religion, because I knew it couldn't be a choice. He tried to choose that. He tried to do what the Bible said is what he should do.
Yeah.
And it led to depression. It should lead to freedom. It should lead to happiness. And I have a lot of gay friends as well. And it led to happiness when they accept it. So then I knew something was wrong here.
Okay.
So.
Well, we're told as Christians that we'll be happy and free when we come to Christ,
and that's not what happens. I know so many good non-religious people, and then I was like, wait, so they're bad? And so it started tons and tons of questions for me.
So when what type of questions? You tell me what was going through your mind.
Okay. Well, I was wondering how God could be good if he commanded the Israelites to kill entire nations and save the virgins for themselves, then God is a murderer and rapist. And then all the rules about women, such as if she's a virgin, and they tell that by the hymen being intact, obviously. If she is found to not be a virgin on her honeymoon night, then she could be taken and killed. What if her father rapes her? What if she's not born with it? What if it breaks? So I was like, wait, God's not protecting that woman then. And the other ones where she could marry her rapist. All those kind of all those kind of laws made me go, wait, how can God be all-knowing and all-powerful and not protect those women? Because his laws cannot be cultural. They have to last throughout time. Otherwise, he's not all-knowing. So, I got those kind of questions.
Even though you suspected, your husband being gay, when he finally admitted to you, which I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, I'm assuming maybe he admitted it to himself, or he just maybe felt relieved that he could finally say it. From that point, how long was it prior to the separation or divorce? We
probably started making preparations within a month, because we both realized, well, if he's gay, and the only way for him to be happy and for me to be happy is for him to accept that, then I'm getting in the way of, our marriage is getting in the way of us being able to do anything. So we started to help each other become financially stable. I needed a job because I was staying at home with my son at that time, raising him, being a stay-at-home mom, which was not a good idea for me. I thought too much. So,
which might be good in a way.
That's what happened. I got in lots of debates about religion and just realized, oh, wait a second, this stuff is not making sense. So, we made preparations for me to get a job and for us to get 2 cars, and then we waited for taxes to come so that we can get that discount and have the money to be able to be separated. So we separated actually in March.
Okay. So how long were you married?
6 years.
6 years? I guess he's with a friend today, I guess.
No, he's with his daddy right now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
We share custody.
So he's in St. Louis as well. Okay, but how did y'all come to here? I mean, you're Washington, Louisiana, now.
Oh, that's a story.
St. Louis. I thought it might be.
All right. So we were in New Orleans, actually. After I was in Mississippi for school, I got into the program, a nursing program in New Orleans. And it was the same campus as his. He was in the New Orleans Baptist Seminary. So he was getting his degree to be a missionary or a pastor. And so we were down there. We both finished our degrees, except mine didn't end up being nursing. I failed it. But anyway,
whatever.
Anyway,
right?
Yeah, whatever. God's plan, right? So we were trying to figure out where in the world we're going to go now. And we found St. Louis, found, that it had low cost of living, had 4 seasons rather than hot and hotter. And
at least this year.
And it had lots of good resources for having a family. And so we decided, well, we should go check it out. So we looked at apartments, and we found a place we liked, and a month later we moved up.
Okay. So obviously you found a church here in the area.
Oh yeah, we found a couple. We went to a few different churches. Okay. But we got involved with the Southern Baptist Church because we were going back into ministry. So we were going into missions, and we needed to be in a Southern Baptist Church to go into missions. How
was he raised? I mean, what
Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist, but was he the Josh Harris courtship type thing, or?
He was raised on a camp, and the family's very close-knit. They're all very quiet. He's very quiet. He's
on a camp?
On a camp, yeah, Christian camp.
Okay.
They did that a lot, and his father is a pastor as well. So they were very secluded, as they lived they lived in the country. So he was raised, also homeschooled, and, was very sheltered as well.
So the camp is like a Christian summer camp, that type of thing. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And I told him, you better tell your family, because I don't know what's going to happen with mine. Sure enough, he did not tell him, and my dad called up his dad to try to interfere with, our marriage or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And told him he was gay, so he was actually happy about that, because then he didn't have to tell him. He could just confirm it.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So now, what is your ex-husband doing today? What's he do? Is he in the ministry or
no?
Oh, he's gone.
He got a job at Home Depot. He's had that for several years now.
Okay, but and I'm assuming that he's no longer part of religion, or is he?
He is the same as he has been when we were married, which is he tries not to think about it. He's not involved at all with the church anymore, since I'm not dragging him there. And he believes the same as me pretty much. He has the same issues I have, but he just tries to not think about it, not do anything with it. and just ignores it.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
well.
I can't. I've always been an activist.
When you made the first of all, how did you let your family know? How did they come to find out that you had left religion or became an atheist? How did you lower the boom, and what was their response to that?
I started posting questions on Facebook so I can have debates with them, so I could see the other side and play devil's advocate, but then kept getting stronger and stronger towards atheism because there was no answers. So they saw my questions and started freaking out about that, and that's before they learned that I was getting divorced. And we separated for a couple months before we told anybody. And he called his parents first to tell him, that we're getting divorced, and did not tell him he's gay. And then I called up my family and told them, and they started freaking out because, you cannot get a divorce unless there's sexual immorality. And my dad told me that, what that means, you cannot get married again because then you'll be adulterous. And they started freaking out about me getting divorced, and I kind of told him, all these issues about the Bible. We had a huge kind of discussion about that, and basically told me if I'm accepting of gay rights, that I need to go back to him. Yeah.
Wow.
They both my parents asked me if I was gay because I accepted, gay rights.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
They assume since, I'm accepting of it, I must think about it, so therefore I must be sinning, and therefore I must be gay.
So have they ostracized you then? I mean, what?
They don't talk to me. I live far away. They don't have to think about me.
Oh, well, they still in Washington.
They still live in Washington, and
okay.
I still live over here. I mean, I sometimes talk to some of my siblings occasionally, but we don't really have much to do with each other right now. So.
Is that due to your atheism? Or?
And living far away.
And living far away.
I don't have money.
So basically, you wouldn't say that your coming away from religion has put a strain, then it's just more distance that has, or?
Yeah, more distance, and we just don't have to think about each other very much.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But yeah, their reaction was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe some of the things they said to me, but I kind of expected it. They said that my Wiccan friends have corrupted me. I didn't even know what Wiccans believe.
Oh, Wiccan.
So, yeah, Wiccan. Yeah. And my grandma actually called up my ex-husband after we had a conversation, of which she told me that that me calling him gay is the worst possible thing I could call him, and I must hate him for calling him that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I must hate him.
You hate him, okay.
Yeah. She really came at me, I think, because I've been through a lot. I tend to think more positively about what happens, and I think I forgot all the other stuff. But she also called up my ex-husband and told him he should get back together with me because I have needs, and he should just do it. What? My grandmother?
I just never got lucky with parents like that, or grandparents. I can't imagine grandma saying that. It's like, whoa! Excuse me!
Yeah, he texted me and said, your grandma said this. I'm like, what?
So, if somebody was sitting right here, let's say I'm questioning, I'm doubting, but I'm afraid of God, I'm afraid of going to hell, I'm afraid of leaving religion like you did, what would you say to that person?
I would tell them that they're a good person if they're considering not harming others. This is what I live by, is do not harm. I base my decisions of morality on harm, on how it might harm somebody. Good, I would tell them that's how you know if you're good or bad. And then I would also tell them that if God is actually good, do you think he's going to send you to hell for eternal punishment if you are living a good life and not harming others? That's a terrible parent. I would never send my son to eternal punishment for anything he did.
Yeah, I mean, even Hitler should get out after a while. That type of thing. Did you ever think that, boy, this is a mean religion that I'm believing in?
I think God is evil.
Yeah. But even back then, did nothing ever really bother?
I never thought of those things.
Okay.
I never knew about those terrible laws. I never knew about the myths. Because once I started looking at myths, I realized that Jesus was story was done before.
Okay.
I never knew any of that, never even thought about it. And it was my best friend, actually, who started bringing up those questions. I started thinking about it, was like, whoa, wait. So I realized that God either can't exist or he's evil.
Okay.
And I don't want to follow him if he's evil.
So if you have someone out there that is saying, gosh, how could you love the Lord? And I mean, what would you say to a critic, to someone like yourself, that's saying, well, were you ever saved? And
I was absolutely 100% saved. If I was not saved, then nobody can be.
So what would you, I mean, how would you challenge an individual like that? What would you say to someone who is skeptic about your skepticism?
Who is saying that I was never saved?
Or who's saying, how can you not believe?
How can I not believe?
How can you not
because
believe?
Jesus ruined my life.
Say what you want. Okay, great.
I could never go back to it because now, I mean, when I look at the Bible, God is not powerful enough to stop, all those terrible laws.
Mm-hmm.
The Old Testament is still relevant if he's an all-knowing God who never changes. So I can't dismiss it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. That's great. Anyway, and thank you for watching. We appreciate you tuning in and tuning up. And so if you got any questions, I'm sure you can post down below. Anyway, have a great day. Make it a non-religious day. And by all means, use your brain. Think a little. We'll see you later.
They invited me to stick around, but I told them there was another place I had to check out tonight.